The rain came down in thin, glittering sheets, turning the London pavement into a mirror of blurred lights and moving silhouettes. Mira Bennett held her tote bag over her head as she sprinted toward the approaching bus. She was already late, her workplace presentation was in an hour, and the last thing she needed was more chaos. The bus hissed to a stop. Without checking the route number, Mira hopped on, tapping her Oyster card with a relieved sigh. The warm interior wrapped around her like a cocoon. Passengers sat quietly, most half asleep, headphones in. Mira slid into a seat near the window, shaking water from her hair. "That's a new look," a voice beside her teased softly. Mira turned and paused. The woman sitting next to her was stunning. Tall, olive-skinned, with spiral curls tucked loosely into a knitted beanie. Her eyes were a deep brown, warmed by laughter lines that hinted at a habit of smiling. She wore a caramel coat and held a tiny sketchbook in her hand, charcoal smudged on her fingertips. Mira blinked. "Sorry?" The woman held up a pencil. "Your hair. Very avant-garde. Rain edition." Mira let out a breathy laugh. "Right. I guess so." "I'm Elise," the woman said. "And you are?" "Mira." "Well, Mira, you've boarded the quietest bus in London." "Oh, I don't mind quiet," Mira said. "I just hope I'm not late." "For what?" "A presentation. Marketing pitch. Very dramatic. Lots of charts and seriousness." Elise grinned. "Sounds dreadful. Where are you headed?" "Baker Street." Elise blinked. "Baker Street?" "This bus is going to St. Pancras." Mira froze. No. No, you're joking." "I wish I were." Elise showed her the digital route sign on her phone. Mira felt her heart plummet. Oh my God. The bus slowed. Passengers began pulling luggage from overhead racks. Luggage? Why were there suitcases everywhere? "Oh," Elise said softly, realization dawning. "You really got on the wrong bus." Mira looked around, panic rising. The station buzzed with travelers pulling suitcases, checking departure boards, kissing hellos and goodbyes. Mira stood frozen in the middle of it all, drenched and disoriented. "I can't go to Paris," she whispered to herself. "I need to get back." Elise placed a soft hand on her arm. "Breathe." Mira exhaled shakily. "I'm a disaster." "You're human," Elise said. "And very entertaining." Despite herself, Mira laughed. Elise tilted her head. "Let me help." "What exactly do you need to do?" "I need to get back to London immediately." Mira checked her phone. "And I'm already 20 minutes late. My boss is going to kill me." "Call your office," Elise suggested. Mira nodded, stepping aside. But as her phone rang, her boss's number blinking on the screen, she froze. She imagined his stern face, the way he paced during meetings, his habit of blaming everyone but himself. She declined the call. Elise raised a brow. "Not ready for that conversation?" "Nope." Elise smiled. "Then, come to Paris." Mira stared. "Elise." "Just for the day," Elise added quickly. "A spontaneous adventure. You look like someone who hasn't done something wild in a long time." She wasn't wrong. "And," Elise continued, "I have an extra Eurostar ticket. My friend bailed last minute." Mira blinked. "Why would you give me?" Because you seem like you need a break. And because I trust my instincts. Elise shrugged. Worst case scenario, you have a nice train ride. Best case, who knows? Mira looked around. The departure board flashed Paris's boarding soon. People hurried past, filled with purpose, but her purpose had dissolved the moment she stepped onto the wrong bus. Her life was predictable. Controlled. Timed to the minute. Elise was not. Are you sure? Mira asked quietly. Very. Elise smiled gently. And if you choose not to go, that's okay too. Myra's pulse fluttered. She had never made such a reckless decision. The Eurostar slid smoothly out of the station, the hum of conversations blending with the soft rattle of luggage. Mira sat by the window, watching London blur into countryside. She felt strangely weightless. Regretting it yet? Elise asked, sipping tea from a paper cup. Not, exactly, Mira admitted. Just stunned. I've never done anything like this. Spontaneity looks good on you. Mira felt warmth creep into her cheeks. Elise noticed, her lips curling in a subtle smile. So, Elise said, flipping open her sketchbook. Tell me about yourself. There's not much to tell. I don't believe that. Mira sighed. I work too much, sleep too little, and I've forgotten what free time feels like. Elise tapped her pencil. I see. A chronic overachiever. Oh, absolutely. What do you do when you're not working? Mira hesitated. I read. A lot. Romance? Sometimes. But mostly travel books. Elise blinked. You love travel? I love the idea of travel. I've never actually gone anywhere. Elise's voice softened. So Paris is your first real adventure? Mira nodded. Yes. Elise smiled at her with a gentleness that tugged at something deep inside. I'm honored to be part of it. Heat rushed through Myra's chest. She quickly looked away. What about you? She asked. I'm an illustrator, Elise said, showing her sketchbook. Inside were delicate pencil drawings, streets, faces, flowers, moments caught midlife. They're beautiful, Mira breathed. Thank you. Elise watched her quietly. I draw what I feel. And today, I feel curious. About what? You. Mira swallowed. The train tunneled beneath the channel, casting the windows into darkness. Their reflections stared back at them, two women sitting closer than strangers usually do, knees almost touching. Elise leaned slightly closer. May I draw you? Mira blinked. Me? You have a thoughtful face. And rain curly hair. And eyes that look like you're always thinking 5 things at once. Paris greeted them with warm golden light, the air filled with the scent of fresh croissants and distant music. Mira stepped onto the platform, stunned by how dreamlike everything felt. This is real, she whispered. Welcome to your adventure, Elise said, slipping her hands into her coat pockets. Where to first? I don't know, Mira confessed. Perfect. Then let me show you my Paris. They began walking through the station, then out onto a bustling street lined with charming cafes. Paris felt alive, colorful, loud, tender. Elise led her to a small cafe beside the canal. They ordered pastries, and Mira couldn't stop smiling as she took in the scene, the old couple feeding birds, children chasing bubbles, friends laughing over coffee. Is it always this beautiful? Mira asked. Elise shrugged. Beauty's subjective. But with good company, yes. Myra's breath caught. They spent the morning wandering through Montmartre's winding streets. Elise pointed out old art studios, painted doors, hidden courtyards. She told stories of the people she had sketched, the places she loved. And Mira listened, really listened, feeling like she was discovering not just a city, but Elise herself. At midday, they reached the steps of the Sacré-Cœur. The view of Paris stretched endlessly before them, rooftops glinting like scales of a sleeping dragon. Myra's heart swelled. It's breathtaking, she whispered. Elise watched her, not the skyline. Yes, she murmured. Mira felt heat rise to her cheeks again. They found a spot on the steps, sitting close enough that their shoulders brushed. A street guitarist played soft notes nearby, the melody drifting like a lullaby over the hill. This doesn't feel real, Mira said softly. I feel like I'm inside a movie. Elise leaned back on her hands. Sometimes life gives us scenes worth remembering. Mira turned to her. You speak like an artist. Because I am, Elise teased. By late afternoon, the Seine shimmered gold beneath the sinking sun. Mira and Elise walked along its edge, the breeze tugging gently at their clothes. Mira felt lighter than she had in years. They crossed a small bridge, pausing to watch boats glide under them. Music drifted from a nearby accordion player. It's perfect, Mira murmured. Elise glanced at her. You look happy. I am. Mira smiled. I don't remember the last time I felt like this. Maybe you just needed the right company. Myra's heart thudded. As they reached a quiet riverbank, Elise sat on a stone ledge, motioning for Mira to join her. Shadows played softly over Elise's face, turning her eyes warm and dark. Mira, she said slowly. There's something I want to ask. But her words were interrupted by Myra's phone buzzing loudly. Her stomach dropped. Her boss. She stared at the screen. Elise watched her silently. After a long moment, Mira answered. Her boss's voice exploded through the phone. Where are you? Do you have any idea what you've cost us? This is unacceptable. Mira felt herself shrinking, like always. I'm sorry, she murmured. Sorry doesn't fix this, he barked. As he ranted, Elise touched her arm gently. Mira met her eyes. Elise mouthed, You don't deserve this. Something inside Mira cracked open. She took a deep breath. No, Mira said into the phone. Silence. No, her boss snapped. I said no. I'm not doing this anymore. Myra's voice trembled, but it was steady. If one mistake makes me worthless to you, then I shouldn't be working for you. Before she could overthink, she ended the call. Her hands shook. Her heart hammered. Elise exhaled. That was brave. Mira nodded weakly. I've never stood up for myself like that. Elise brushed her fingertip lightly against Myra's knuckles. You should. You're extraordinary. The world seemed to quiet around them. Boats drifted. The sun dipped lower. A warm hush settled over the city. Elise, Mira whispered. Night unfurled gently over Paris, lights twinkling like fallen stars. Mira and Elise wandered back toward the station, hand in hand, walking slower than necessary. Mira didn't want the day to end. At the entrance, the departures board flickered. London, 2110. Myra's chest tightened. I guess. I should go back. Elise nodded, though her eyes softened with something like longing. I knew this wasn't forever. But I'm grateful for every moment. Mira swallowed. This feels like a dream I don't want to wake up from. Elise smiled faintly. Then don't. Mira blinked. What do you mean? Stay, Elise said softly. Just a little longer. One more day. We can walk the city at sunrise. Visit the bookstalls. Eat pastries too early. Or, we can sit by the river and do nothing at all. Myra's breath caught. It was reckless. Illogical. Irresponsible. But she had already lost her job. She had already found something new inside herself today. And she wasn't ready to let go of the woman who made her feel alive. Elise, she whispered, I don't want this to end either. Silence stretched, warm, hopeful. Then stay, Elise repeated, voice barely louder than a breath. Mira looked at the train. Then at Elise. Then at the city glowing behind them. She stepped closer. Okay. Elise's eyes widened, bright, joyful. She pulled Mira into a tight embrace. You won't regret it. I already don't. They walked out of the station together, the city opening before them again like an invitation. As they strolled toward the river, Elise intertwined their fingers once more. Tomorrow, I'll take you to my favorite spot. It's a hidden garden behind the Musée d'Orsay. Hardly anyone knows it exists. Mira smiled. I want to see everything you love. And I want to see Paris through your eyes. They wandered along the Seine until they reached a small stone bench. Mira rested her head on Elise's shoulder.